Morning guys, it's bright and early. It's around 8 o'clock Saturday morning. Got some property lines to cut out. My property is about 600 feet across the front and back and 5/8 of a mile back, so I think that's like 3,600 feet or so. But when I bought my house, there was an older couple living here and their mother lived 2 houses down, so they had a total of 100 acres. And every Tom, Dick, and Harry would hunt on their property without them knowing. The people that I bought my house from, I don't think ventured out past the yard probably ever. So when I moved in, because I was having issues with all the neighbors, or not all the neighbors, some of the neighbors, I dug down deep in the pocketbooks and got my lines cut. Not just flagged and the corners found, but I got my lines cut. So I hired a local surveying company. They came in and cut about a 5-6 foot pathway right down the trail, or right down the property lines. You know, basically I said I want a blind man to be able to find the property lines. So I cut the trail. I've been living here for about 8 years. I cut the trail twice now, and I think it's been 2 or 3 years since I've cut it, so I really need to get my button gear and do that. But you can look right here and you can see the orange flag tape. Maybe you can't. It's kind of right about there somewhere. There's a tree blazed and there's a branch with some orange tape on it. So I'm just going to kind of go down. I'm not too worried about this brush here because I'm in a bit of a landing, so I know pretty much where it is. I know that those birch trees are kind of the line, and then there's a big tree where there's a gate that, well, not a gate, just a piece of clothesline tied to it to keep people out. So I know that that's the neighbors, and that's my wood I got to clean up from when I got it logged. But there's some new neighbors moving in over here, so I wanted to get this done before they move in, so I don't have any issues with them, so that they know exactly where the property is. And you know, if they want to play nice, then we can play nice together, and if not, well, I know exactly where the property line is. So my trail goes down that way, and it doesn't cross onto the property line or to the other side of the property, but they have a trail that runs down that way, and it does zigzag back along over the property line. And If be honest, it's not the end of the world, so as long as they're decent people, there'll be no issues. If they seem like if they're on the prickish side, then we will have issues and they'll have to make a new trail. So anywho, it's bright and early. I'm just going to grab the whippersnipper. We've got a still whippersnipper with a blade on it. These things work great for saplings up to 2 or 3 inch. After that, you're kind of pushing your luck a little bit, but you can definitely go through. If I had a bigger saw, probably, and I really need to sharpen this blade, but I'm guessing it's just going to be lots of saplings, 1 inch or so, tag alders. So we're just going to walk down this line here. It's it's not the whole 3,600 feet, because there's a big chunk of that is pond. And there's also a marsh. So there's probably only 1,500 feet here. And then we'll scoot along the neighbor's trail to the back side of the pond. I have a trail there, or the line's cut out there. So I'll make sure that that's nice and clean, put ribbons so that, if I'm standing here, I can see a ribbon. If I look over here, I want to be able to see a ribbon. So it's important to have the ribbons up. I like to use orange ribbon on the property lines. I use a pink ribbon on my trails, as well as I have these little orange dots that have a reflective material on them. I'll put them on my trails so that if I'm walking out at dark, I can see that there's a trail. Any hazards on my trail, I'll put a piece of orange flagging tape, because there was a log across here, so I didn't want to hit that going fast with the skidoo or anything. So that's kind of my method. I also have green flagging tape that I don't use very often. I have a red, it says caution on it. It's a really plasticky, almost like a garbage bag, but it's good for marking out bigger areas. And you know, I like to keep it organized. Having all the lines and trails marked properly makes a big difference for me, but also for neighbors. One of my neighbors is a pretty good hunter, and when he's out, he's generally shooting deer at the last minute of legal light, and by the time he gets out of the stand and goes and finds it and all that sort of good stuff, it's definitely dark. And it's definitely dark, and he doesn't really know his way around the bush all that well when it comes to where he is. So he's usually asking me, you know, I'm standing by this creek here, do you know where I am? Yeah, go this way, go that way. So having the trails marked and everything, it helps him as well figure out where he's going. Squirrel up in a tree dropping pine cones scared the crap out of me. But enough talking, I guess it's time to get going. Well, we got the last bit of the line cut this morning. Got out, I guess it was maybe 9 o'clock when I got out. And it was fairly cool this morning. It was like 10 degrees or so. So it was kind of nice weather to work, and I even had to wear my hoodie. But you can see that, you know, the line, I cut it out about the swath of the whippersnapper. So 3, 4, 5 feet in that ballpark. My blade's getting pretty dull now, so I'm gonna have to come back down that way and just nibble at some of the smaller stuff, the little maples and the little birch that are kind of growing. But the line wasn't as bad as I thought. This line actually took no time at all. It was more just walking than actually cutting. So that was kind of nice. Put some flags up right here, so hopefully when I'm on the other side I should be able to see it. Probably scared all the geese away. I'm not sure where they are. Seen some good otter sign. Haven't really seen any muskrat or beaver sign. So we'll probably set up a couple of channels. There's a channel back there that I'll show you after. It's got some fresh otter signs, so there's a nice, fairly deep channel, maybe a foot deep, so I'll be able to drop a 330 down in there, and if it's a beaver, well then we get a beaver. If it's the otter, then we should get an otter. So that's good. A couple nice spots that I'm going to set for mink. I'm pretty sure that I've got some mink signs, so we'll set up a few boxes around and see if we can't get that. There's 3 otter toilets that I've seen, 4, but I don't really tinker around on that side. That's the neighbors. You can see I'm right on the property line, so I don't go over there and scout very much. If I see anything, I'm allowed to go and trap over there, but I try not to push my luck when it comes to the neighbors. So, but a beautiful day. It's overcast, cool. It's breezy. It's perfect weather for doing stuff outside. So anywho, we're going to put the camera away. We're going to fire the still back up. It's an FS55 straight shaft, and I use the still blade. You can sharpen them. I've had that blade for probably 3 years now and I haven't sharpened the blade, so to be totally honest, I'll probably just launch it and grab a new one. Oh, there's some geese coming in for a landing. Probably can't see it in the GoPro. Anyways, yeah, I got a couple trees here marked. These flag tapes don't last very long, so what I want to do is maybe come out with a metal pole, piece of pipe over the winter, like even a T-post, and just smash it in here and attach something to it that's gonna last a bit longer than the flag tape. But even maybe if we just paint the stake, the top foot or so orange, or yeah, orange, so it stands out. But anywho, this has been a great saw for property maintenance, even just whippersnipping around the yard. It's not that heavy. You know, you can spend 4 or 5 hours out. You can spend 4 or 5 hours out whippersnipping and it's not going to break your back. It's pretty good on gas. I did the whole, well, that whole line back, so I would guess 1,500 feet, 2,000 feet back, running it wide open. So that flock's hopefully going to land. And there's another 2 flocks over there. I don't know what kind of berries those are. Anywho, I guess we better get going. We're probably going to scare them up again, but it's my pond, not theirs. So we'll head back.